Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you.
Remembering that I'll be dead soon.
Ever wonder what this pocket's for?
You know who this guy is. He probably invented what you're using right now to watch this video. I believe that Steve Jobs is the greatest of all time regarding entrepreneurship, but he had a dark side that allowed him to mutate reality to his will. This is what got him to create two of the most interesting and profitable companies of all time, but it's also what got him to his early death on October 2011. Part 1. The field. As you may have guessed, his reality distortion field is the responsible for this. Steve knew the rules didn't apply to him. That's why he got to being CEO of an amazing company without the necessarily managerial skills usually needed to run this type of companies. What he had in his mind, he knew he could achieve it. Manifestation at its best. While launching the iPod, Steve on his own convinced the major music companies to do two things that were crazy at that time. The first one was to allow the customer to buy each song individually rather than the whole album, which ended the record label business of dropping an album with 3 good songs and 12 filler ones. The second one was to commoditize the song prices, leaving every song to just 99 cents. As one of the early Apple software designers elaborated, in his presence, reality is malleable. He can convince anyone of practically anything. It wears off when he's not around, but it makes it hard to have realistic schedules. It was dangerous to get caught in Steve's distortion field, but it was what led him to change reality. Or as Pam Kerwin from Pixar said, Jobs would go to a whiteboard and show them how to make it simpler and more user-friendly. We would be nodding our heads and getting excited and say, yes, this would be great. And then he would leave and we would consider it for a moment and then say, what the heck was he thinking? He was so weirdly charismatic that you almost had to get deprogrammed after you talked to him. The distortion field was an amazing resource to stretch his and his team's boundaries, but it also served as a self-imposed prison when he didn't want to deal with reality. There were 2 events in his life where he used this field particularly well. The birth of Lisa Brennan Jobs, his extramarital daughter, which he avoided taking responsibility in raising her and caused a difficult relationship between both of them, and his cancer diagnosis, which he delayed 9 months his treatment to try weird and detox diets. You know, every genius has its double-edged sword. Steve could envision everything he had in his mind, create a state-of-the-art company, build the digital universe we all now use, but he could also see what he wanted, not what he needed. Part 2. The vision. Since Steve is the first one from our winner series, I want to talk about his positive qualities and what you can apply today to your life. There are a few things I love from Steve: design, focus, and vision. Steve is the embodiment of those who care. Steve is the one that brought passion into a world that is run by productivity, profit, and power. Steve only cared about making great things, about winning. His design vision is truly something to study, and I want to share my insights. Good design is design that feels right. I remember when I was a kid and my dad brought the iPad 2 and I was breathtaking. It was something out of this planet. Yet it was something so simple to use that it just felt so right. And I had the same feeling when I bought my iPhone 15 Pro. The guy from the store just took it out of the box and I was just in awe. The shade of white, the titanium, the kind of quality of the materials, everything was just right. So while designing, you should truly listen to your gut and also learn from others and watch things and watch what feels right. And this inspired me into making my own things right, my appearance, my content, my workspace, as you may have noticed. Because good design is simple and good design is classy. Steve, on his own words, said, I love it when you can bring really great design and simple capability to something that doesn't cost much. It was the original vision for Apple. That's what we tried to do with the first Mac, and that's what we did with the iPod. Focus is one of the key pillars in anything you want to do in life. Steve understood this and applied it to everything he did. Less buttons, less useless features, less products, and less departments. Everything needed to be focused on the things that matter. I always thought that you could do a lot of things and become great in all of them, but I came to notice that I was wrong. I do believe in people who are polymaths, but I also believe that these people become great in one area and then move on into the next. Jobs mastered computers, then moved to the iPod, then to the iPhone, then to the iPad, and then to iCloud. Because that's reality, you need to focus on a few things in order to make them great. You can maintain a lot of things, but you cannot grow all of them. As Walter Isaacson said in Steve's biography, if he didn't want to deal with something, a legal annoyance, a business issue, his cancer diagnosis, a family tug, he would absolutely ignore it. That focus allowed him to say no. He got Apple back on track by cutting all except a few core products. He made devices simpler by eliminating buttons, software simpler by eliminating features, and interfaces simpler by eliminating options. And lastly, vision. Steve truly believed in his ideas. He knew that there was a world where he could achieve the things he wanted. He knew that his mind could be molded to achieve great things. He knew that his intelligence wasn't the determining factor. Later on, he knew that he could die in any moment, which finally convinced him that he had nothing to lose. If you change the way that you looked at things, you can change reality. By seeing what others did not see, it is why he brought things that we didn't know we needed, but we cannot live without. His vision was set in the customer, but not in the tangible things. As Henry Ford once said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would just ask me for faster horses. Instead, he focused on what people could do, what people could create, the problems they had, and the things that they could do. He saw the potential in human beings. Because that's big picture thinking, that's vision. He focused on those human qualities that allow people to think different, to avoid the labels of their mind, to imagine a world in where their obstacles and struggles didn't exist anymore. That's Steve. And he's a winner. I also wanted to take a little bit to reflect on some actionable steps that can help you become more like Steve. First, it's kind of thinking about what you want to do in life, the craziest things that you have in mind, and fucking believe that you can achieve them. Then, just ruthlessly focusing on those things. Even if it demands your whole life, even if you have to go on 3-hour walks to clear your head, everything will be alright. You just need to focus on making the things that you want to make in the greatest manner possible. Just make great things and the rest will follow. And third, you have to master marketing and communication. The things you create, it may not be the best, may not be revolutionary, may not be super innovative, but if you market them right, if you share them with people and try to sell them your product in a way that they will solve a problem or a pain that they have, you will be okay. This is for today. See you in the next one.